Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, an offer he can't refuse. The man who rules the world gets a job offer he can't refuse in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes, an offer he can't refuse at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at Lulu.com today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Marvel Comics editor TomBreevort says he would rather make Marvel fans angry than indifferent. And sadly, this shows how little things have changed over the last 7 years as related to TomBreevort's failed approach to publishing comics. Now, 7 years ago, I made a video called An Angry Comic Reader is Not an Engaged Reader, and almost 7 years later, sadly, TomBreevort hasn't learned anything as the comic book industry has declined. Now, over the last 7 years, we've gone from 3,000 comic shops to barely under 300, and many Marvel comics go from selling in the 10,000s to barely selling 10,000 copies. However, TomBreevort sadly continues to go out here doing the exact same thing, expecting a different result, but the approaches he's using are completely insane, because when it comes down to many of these angry Marvel Comics fans, they're not invested in looking to go buy the books. No, what's happening is that many of these angry fans have basically gone and moved on. That's what I've seen as related to the pattern of comic buyers ever since many comic publishers started to apply this approach, starting in the mid-2000s when Dan Didio took over DC Comics. Now, Dan Didio loved to go out here and create lots of controversy. However, DC Comics sales continued to decline under his leadership as he went out here creating stories like Identity Crisis and Infinite Crisis and Final Crisis that were filled with lots of controversial deaths that wound up alienating lots of readers, and the sales of DC Comics went from the 200,000s at the start of Dan Didio's career at DC Comics to barely being under 80,000 copies being sold of top titles like Batman. And the same approach is one that TomBreevort has used to basically put Marvel into a state of decline. And as he's gone out here and used this approach to look to make Marvel fans angry, he's looking to go out here and generate lots of controversy by having lots of different things like deaths from events like Secret Empire, and looking to cause lots of controversy as related to getting arguments online going in places like Facebook groups and message boards, and people making angry YouTube videos. And the only people making money are the YouTube grifters who basically use Marvel Comics as an example of so-called woke. And those are the people who make most of their money with clicks and views. Meanwhile, Marvel Comics is still continuing to go into freefall, with sales of books again dropping to the point where you can't even sell 10,000 copies of top titles like X-Men and Spider-Man, and the whole approach basically is a complete failure. But TomBreevort continues to go on, thinking creating online controversy as related to getting clicks and views will eventually turn into sales, but all it has been doing is just driving customers away. And as customers are being driven away, what they're doing is just looking to move on from Marvel Comics and looking to pursue other hobbies. And meanwhile, while they go out here and look to cause these controversies, they're thinking that this new audience is going to show up. However, that new audience has never shown up, and the median age of a comic reader has gotten older over the last 7 years, and we've gone from readers being in their late 30s, early 40s 7 years ago to readers now being in their 50s and on way to their 60s. And TomBreevort basically is still trying to make comic fans angry in an effort to get them emotional, but this whole approach has never worked and clearly shows how out of touch TomBreevort is as related to his plans to market comics. Now, as someone who has worked in trade publishing for the last 18 years, I know that in order to go out here and get fans to go out here and buy comic books, you have to get them excited and you have to get them anticipating buying the next book. That's how you get people interested in comics, and you really want to go out here and you want people to be excited, because happy people basically go out here and they go and they look to not only buy comics but look to spread the word about your books. That's what people do in trade publishing. People look to go out here and build excitement and build buzz, similar to what happened with J.K. Rowling and her Harry Potter books. The goal of J.K. Rowling, as related to Harry Potter and their publisher, was to go out here and generate excitement and generate buzz among the tweens and teens and young adults who were interested in Harry Potter. And as a result, the millennial generation basically went out here and bought all 7 of the original Harry Potter books in the millions. But sadly, those in comics really don't understand that you want to go out here and build buzz in a positive way, because positive buzz basically creates a positive energy, and the positive energy gets people excited, builds the word of mouth, and that drives foot traffic to the comic store as related to your fan base, and your fan base basically drives the casual reader into the store. That's what TomBreevort just doesn't understand about the business of publishing, and he's still trying to apply a business model that has just completely failed for the last, I'd say, about 20 plus years, and has led to the comic book industry going into further decline. He's still trying to apply a business model that just has not worked, and again, doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result is insanity, because customers who are angry don't go out and look to buy your product. Customers who are angry don't look to go tell their friends about your product. And as a result of you alienating those customers, what happens is that they look to jump on the bandwagon of the next competitor with the next big thing. And what has happened, sadly, is that nobody really has come out with a new big thing. And Marvel really, they would possibly be forced to get their act together if they had to deal with a competitor who could go out here and make that next big thing. That would be the only thing that possibly would get Marvel out of these doldrums, because it's clear to me that TomBreevort has been at Marvel way too long. He's been comfortable in his job way too long, and it's time for Tom to basically go out here and put in his retirement papers, go get his pension and his benefits, because he doesn't care about this business. No, he only cares about collecting a paycheck, because no smart publisher wants to go out here and make customers angry. No, a smart publisher wants to go out here and give readers an experience that leaves them happy and satisfied, because that's how you go out here and build and expand your audience. But sadly, when it comes down to TomBreevort, he's still trying to go out here and thinking generating controversy will generate sales. No, generating controversy does not generate sales. No, what generates sales is good word of mouth. That's what's always sold publishing and sold publications over the last 100 or so years, ever since the eras of the penny dreadfuls, the chapbooks, and the pulp fiction, all the way up to the comic book era and the trade paperbacks. I mean, publishing has always been about going out here and again generating that buzz, generating that heat, getting people excited, getting them to anticipate the next book, getting them to follow behind authors. And sadly, when it comes down to those in comics, these folks basically are living in a delusional world. I mean, I listen to the things that these people say. Oh, we don't want rock star creators or best-selling authors. We want to go out here and make people angry. Well, without best-selling authors to go out here and again drive the foot traffic to the store, or you going out here and building excitement, you're not going to be able to generate those sales. And again, if I'm somebody working at Disney, I'm looking at Tom Breevort and I'm thinking it's time to tell him to put in his retirement, or it's time to just give Tom Breevort his walking papers and send him on his way, so that we can get Marvel to go in a good direction, because you don't want people sitting up online complaining about bad storylines like The Crossing, the Clone Saga, Brand New Day, or Secret Empire. No, you want to get people excited about the new storyline that you've got. You want to get people talking about your characters and saying how cool that character is or what cool stuff this character did. You want to go out here and get them in discussions like Goku versus whatever character, or Superman versus whatever character, or Batman versus whatever character, because this character is so cool. And you want people talking good about your characters. You want them excited where there's a positive energy. But these guys like Tom Breevort, what they want to do is just go out here and look to feed the algorithm. And as they feed the algorithm, guys like Rich Johnston at Bleeding Cool go out here and get rich. Many of the YouTube comic grifters, they get rich making AdSense dollars. But Marvel doesn't make many sales on their books. Marvel doesn't go out here and move the units. And that shows how out of touch Tom Breevort is as related to being in editorial. And it's clear to me from listening to Tom Breevort in 2026, not much has changed as related to him in 2018. And it really shows me why there's a desperate need for change over at Marvel. And they needed to change almost 7 years ago. Now, if you want to check out my first full comic, John Haynes at Death's Store, that comic is available on Lulu.com in paperback, and it's also available on Kindle and Google Play. And you can pick up this comic on paper and digital formats. And if you want to go out here and pick up many of the books in the SJS Direct universe, where I'm looking to go out here and build good buzz, you can pick up books in the ISIS series, the Esteem series, and the John Haynes series, and the Spinsterella series, and other books like my horror novel, Eternal Night, or my black sorority novel, The Thetas, or my business novel, Recipe for Success. These are all books part of the SJS Direct universe, and you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and digital format, and you can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me take the comic book industry straight to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.